If you never posted a picture to social media, would you still believe that you're beautiful? If no one ever told you that you're beautiful, would you still believe it? Because I've been thinking more and more and more about social media these days, and the only perspective that I can speak from is my own personal perspective. Um, as I was doing some research on social media, I came across this subject, and it was talking about Facebook is a mental illness that they're calling Facebook depression. And it's basically this: you fall into this trap where you are looking at people's lives and comparing your life to theirs, and you are basically beating yourself up for not living up to the standards that you see on social media. Is that a real thing? Absolutely. I don't care how many people try to argue me down about it. It's an absolutely real thing. And I remember I didn't have Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat for a long time, and I was fine. But I remember, I'm like, okay, I want to be on social media because I just want to connect with other people. So I finally get onto Facebook. I got on Facebook about 4 months after having it, because that was oversaturation for me. I couldn't handle Facebook, so I stayed on Instagram because I'm like, well, Instagram is just pictures. It's a lot less conversation. It's more pictures. Too many opinions on Facebook with people who should not have a platform argue me down. Some people should not have a platform, but so I stayed on Instagram because I'm like, oh, it's just pictures. I could stroll through and look at pictures. And the longer I stayed, the more I started to realize what was happening to me. So I'm like, well, why am I posting this picture? And I was like, it's not an insecurity thing. It's a conceited thing. It's like, look at me, I'm beautiful. Look at me, I'm beautiful. Now tell me I'm beautiful. Now like my picture and agree that I'm beautiful because I'm so beautiful. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen for a lot of people. A lot of people is needing the validation that they are beautiful because they're coming from an insecure place. But I was coming from a conceited place. I can't front. I was coming from a conceited place with it. But then I was like, that's sad because it's feeding a part of me that should not, I don't want to be conceited. I want to be confident, but I don't want to feel conceited. And then at the same time, feeling a little bit conceited about yourself when you post a picture, but then at the same time, starting to have the conceitedness deflate into insecurity. That's what was happening at first. It was a conceited, girl, I'm pretty, look at me. But then the more I stayed on social media and I saw all these girls who were so drop dead gorgeous, and they had these bomb bodies. I don't know where they manufacturing these bodies at, but girl, these bodies, bomb bodies, flawless skin, absolutely no pores on their skin, smooth, flawless bodies, flawless hair, flawless nails, flawless everything, living lavish seemingly. And I'm like, what? Maybe I ain't that cute. And you start to feel less than in your real life. And it's just me telling my own experience, you know what I'm saying? I'm being honest and candid and open. And so I was like, you know what? Yeah, I think there is a problem with social media. Because me, as I'm an adult, I'm not above the age of 30. I'm not that grown. But I'm grown. I'm an adult. And for me as an adult to realize that social media was impacting my mental health means that as a child or a teenager, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. And so I was just thinking about social media, and alcohol should not be something that should be openly given to kids. There's an age limit on which you can get alcohol, and it's because they don't think that you're socially responsible enough as a child to be able to handle something that can inhibit your mental state, like alcohol. Why is it that social media doesn't have an age restriction? I think social media should have an age restriction, because me as an adult, realizing that social media has had an impact, a profound impact on me versus the who that I am right now versus the me that I was 3 years ago is different. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that 3 years ago I did not have social media, and I find myself doing things that I wouldn't normally wanting to do, because I'm like, ooh, I like that, ooh, I see this, ooh, I want to do that, ooh, I want to do that. social media has an impact on you whether you admit it or not. So I think that there should be an age restriction on social media. My number one reason for saying that is because of cyberbullying. Now, we've all been bullied. You know, I've been bullied. You know, in grade school, I was definitely bullied. And kids will say things, you know, about the way you look, I was bullied for the way that I looked, you know, my skin tone. I was bullied because I have a lazy eye, and sometimes it crosses, just goes on its own. And sometimes you might have seen it in my videos. I was bullied because of my forehead size. I was bullied because the way my cheeks look, but even though my cheeks bones don't look that high right now, because honey, I am filled out and a little puffy. I was bullied because of my teeth size. I was bullied because of the fact that I wasn't loud. I was quiet and I barely talked. I was harassed and bullied because of all those things. And so for a long time, you know, I didn't feel so secure in myself. But the difference was that when I got bullied, and I'm not saying bullying is cool ever, but when I got bullied at school. And when I would come home, that bully was gone. That bully was at his house or at her house, and it was primarily his house. That bully was gone, you know, wasn't around me. And now kids cannot get away from their bullies. They go to school and they're teased and bullied like most everybody else have been. But then when they come home, or even on the walk home from school, they have phones they pull out and the bullying continues. And then they get home and the bullying continues and they're seeing it. And then they go to sleep and overnight the bullying continues. Then they go to school the next day and the bullying has gotten bigger because now the whole school is involved in it. And it's this cycle of like a child who is not mentally strong enough to deal with those kind of criticism is so much more likely to do some harm to themselves or to others as a result of that type of bullying. Constant, ongoing, inescapable bullying. And you could say, well, if the child is being bullied, the mom needs to take them off of social media, take their phone away, take their social media away. You could take their social media away. You could take their phone away as a mom. But that will not stop the bully from still on his or her platform that his or her mom did not take their phone from them, still bullying that person, and still everybody else at the school is still involved in that conversation, still taking part of that conversation, still talking about that child and bringing it back to them the next day at school and bringing it to them when they come visit them at their house. And it's an onslaught of just mental and emotional violence on our children to have them on something like social media. We have a obligation to our youth to protect them, zapping our attention spans down to nothing, so that we need things to be like, if we're having a conversation, we could barely take a 5-minute conversation. If this video is more than 3 to 5 minutes, I can guarantee you that I don't have a lot of subscribers, but the few people that do watch me are not going to see it all the way through. Why? Because I'm doing too much talking. Because it's too long. Because it's too much information. Say it quick and get over it. I don't want to hear it. Make it 10 seconds. Make it 15 seconds. Break it down to 5 seconds. I don't want to hear it if it's longer than that. And if it is longer than that, make it visually appeasing. Don't just talk to me, because I can't take it when you talk to me. Flash colors in my face, you know. Put something crazy going on in the background, like do something so that I can pay attention to what you're saying, because I can't sit there and listen to you talk for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and it's sad. And so what I did was I started trying to like take a step back. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna delete my social media. I'm just gonna step back from it. And I'm go back to things that I did before social media. What was I spending all my time doing before I was on social media all the time? I was reading. And this book I want to do a book review on. But I don't even know if I'm going to even keep this channel after this video. But I was reading. So I got my book and I read. And it felt so good to put that phone down and read. When I say the brain fog that I didn't even know was there had cleared, you know? And so, I just say all of this to say that there's a conversation to be had, you know? There's a conversation to be had about social media and the impacts that it's having on our brains, the impacts that it's having on our mental health, the impacts that it's having on our youth and their future, the impacts that it's having on us as a society. We need to have this conversation about social media. And sometimes I talk myself out of making these videos a lot because social media will have me thinking that maybe I am not smart enough to attack this topic. I have a master's degree. I am a very intelligent woman. I may not be the most articulate. I may not be able to pull out words from my brain like my brain is the source, but I have ideas and opinions that matter, that are valid, and that are very, very, very well thought out. Even when they don't sound like when it doesn't sound like I pulled every other word out of the thesaurus, I still am a very intelligent woman, and I question that. And the fact that I question my intelligence is another example of me being influenced by the power of social media. It made me silence myself for so long because I wanted to make YouTube videos for so long about so many other topics. I am so interested in books, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make YouTube videos just talking about the books that I love, and you know, just reviewing them and giving like a summary and synopsis of the books that I really like, and just like having a little book club. And I'm gonna make videos about social political issues because those things matter to me. Those things are the things that spark or ignite in me some kind of fire. But I'm like, well, when such and such make her video, she sounds so eloquent and intelligent and well versed, and I'm like, I can't, you know, maybe I can't compare to that, and maybe I should just shut up, and I don't want to hear the backlash, and I don't want people calling me stupid. And so I stopped myself in the tracks every time. And power of comparison and what that does to your mental, it's not good. So this video might be long-winded. I didn't write anything out, you know, I just wanted to talk. So I turned on the camera to talk to the camera about social media and what I feel social media is doing, and it's damaging us. And in some ways it is doing good. I'm not gonna say it's totally bad, because in some ways it's good, but I don't have the answers to how to make social media work better for us. But I definitely do believe wholeheartedly that if you are under the age of 18, if you are under the age of 21, social media is a drug that should not be used. And I stand by that wholeheartedly. So yeah, say what you will. It's just how I feel about it. Peace.